Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with finally a not mid or jungle guide. It is a support guide because we are playing ARES. On ARES, I like to grab my Guardian's Blessing. You have a lot of options at the start. Normally, I try to get Blink going, but because I'm against a Sobek in lane, I'm actually going to get a ranked up Sprint just to make sure that we can get away from his plucks. I'm going to grab my 4 health pots and a Hand of the Gods. Because you have Hand of the Gods for clearing in duo on ARES, you can feel free to get your chains instead of your 3 in order to have the pressure on the enemy gods instead of just the pressure on the wave. So, ARES passive. ARES passive is that when you buy an aura item, when you complete the aura, you gain 30 additional power. This is not the end-all, be-all for ARES. Sometimes I see people only building aura items because if you don't have an aura, then you're not using your passive. That's not the case with ARES. You don't have to do that. Like, yeah, auras are nice. It's always nice to have some more damage, but you absolutely do not need to only buy aura items. But, you know, things like Thieves will, you know, give you that bonus damage, and that's nice. So your standard kind of support build there. With your chains on the wave, you're looking to use the chain through the wave and hit a target at the same time, kind of like this. This will allow you to get the pressure on the enemy and get the wave clear off at the same time. I mean, we just kind of got pressure on an Izanami Sobek, which is crazy. That should basically never happen. Although we're not going to get it in this next wave because now they've got a lot of HP on us. But if I can try to get some good, if I can try to get a good chain after this, we might be okay. Sun De La Gun. We did not get a good chain, so that's unfortunate. I did use my Heavenly Agility, though, to try to go for that. So, ARES Chains, this is going to be your main ability. You're going to get it at level 1 in most cases. It is also going to be the ability that you are going to rank up to max in most cases. Pretty much all cases, actually. You're basically going to rank that up all the way. I'm going to turn on this Sobek right here. Try to extend out your chains and not use them all at the same time, if at all possible. The longer you can wait on those chains, the longer you can extend out the cripple duration. So this would be a good time to talk about what exactly ARES chains do. ARES chains do a damage initially. They have an initial damage hit, and they do damage over time to the target they are chained to. You can use the chains up to 3 times. You can only continuously use the chains if you hit a god. It can be different gods or the same god. You will be able to continue to use those chains. And then you've got about like a second and a half before you can use the next chain. Those chains are a slow. They are also a cripple. Not only are they a slow and a cripple for your enemy, but they are also a buff to movement speed for yourself. That buff to movement speed is dependent on how many individual targets you have chained. So if you chain one target 3 times in a row, you will not get 3 times the movement speed. But if you have 3 different targets chained, you will. That is going to be 15% movement speed per target shackled. So if I target Sobek and Izanami with my chain, I will get 30% movement speed. If the jungler was over here and I had all 3 of them chained at the same time, that would be 45% movement speed. These chains do go through minions. They don't latch onto minions or anything, which is why you can use them as lane clear. But like I said, you will only get to use it once unless you hit a god with it, which is why you're trying to hit a god through the minions in order to get some sweet wave clear off with your chains. On support ARES, you can go ahead and grab the 2 at level 4. I oftentimes will not get the 2 at all until the ultra late game if I'm playing a more aggressive ARES, whether that's ARES support or jungle. But on support ARES, go ahead and grab your 2. So let's talk about this 2. This is going to be a buff to everybody around you, including yourself. That buff is going to give you protections. That is going to be physical and magical, and you are going to get percentage CC reduction on you, much like the way that Spirit Robe does. Same concept, but from your 2. And for every target that you have chained, when you press the button, you're going to give an extra 7 protections out. You can have up to 3 targets chained, which means you could give out 21 bonus protections on top of the max protections. So theoretically, 61 protections is the absolute max. That's going to be physical and magical, though. So keep in mind, that's actually 120 protections per person during a team fight if you were to get it off absolutely perfectly, which is basically... that's like, what, 600 protections or something crazy for your team. Sobek and Izanami have to play back right now because I've got my ultimate, and Sobek does not have CC immunity. ARES ulti is kind of the bread and butter of his kit. You pull everybody in, you go out, you do a bunch of damage when your ulti goes off. It's a big, fast circle. After a small delay, it is going to yank them, do damage, and if they're not CC immune, at the time of being yanked, it will go ahead and pull them. He's only level 4. The second you pull them, you just go ahead and chain them, get a couple of combos off. Once your chains are going, you can press your 3. We won't be able to kill the Sobek, but that's fine. We forced his ultimate, and we killed the Izanami. ARES 3 is Searing Flesh. If you're playing ARES jungle, you're going to go ahead and get this ability at level 1. It is the best ability for jungle clear. It's also really good against lane minions, but it doesn't quite give you as much pressure as the chains can potentially, which is why I get the chains at level 1. But what Searing Flesh is going to do is it's going to be a damage over time. You can use it while your chain is on somebody. So the standard ARES combo is going to be to go ahead, have your chains out. Once you're done casting your chains, use your 3. That is going to do damage per tick, a low amount of damage per tick, but it's a decent amount. The big deal comes from it does max health per tick as well. Only 1% on gods, but it ranks all the way up to 3%. But on minions, it does 5% max health per tick, and this thing is going to tick 8 times. So it'll basically do half of jungle minions and lane minions HP if you were to get every single tick on them, and that is not including the baseline damage that it does as well, which is why it's so good for clear in the jungle and the laning phase. Woo! I missed my chain on the Sobek, so he got his pluck off. I'm going to try to body block a little bit for my boy. It's hard to body block against an Izanami, but at least he can body block some of the Sobek stuff. I'm going to go looking for an aggressive fight here. Oh, just barely didn't get the chain off right there before the dash. So what you're looking to do on ARES is step 1, you are looking to be very aggressive. He can go ahead and back up. You're looking to be very, very aggressive. ARES has one of the highest damage outputs of any support in the game. Arguably the highest, maybe, before Cthulhu, who has now just got so much more damage than everybody else in the game. It's just not even close. There we go. So there you can see the cripple effect coming out from the ARES chain. Izanami was mid-dash. I hit her with the cripple. Boom. She can no longer dash. She would have to bead that in order to once again use her dash. Your standard combo is literally just running at somebody. Use your 1 until you miss it or until you run out, and then go ahead and use your 3 to get that bleed effect. That way you've got the bleed effect going from your ARES 1 and also the bleed effect from your 2. Excuse me, also the bleed effect from your 3 as well. 2 as in as well, not in like my ability to. That was confusing, so I wanted to reword that. Enemy ultimate down. On ARES support, I like to go ahead and rank up my Searing Flesh second. I know it seems kind of like you should be ranking up the whoop. That's gonna be a big fat ulti. We're grabbing some friends right now. We are landing double chains, triple chains. We're going, and that's a shell, unfortunately, though. Oh, no, I'm by myself. There's nobody here. I think... Did Hera die or did she back? He might have died. So close. They had their shell up, so we didn't quite get it. We are going to go Thebes on Ares. Thebes is a pretty much mandatory support item. And although it doesn't say, normally when aura items are here, they'll say aura on the bottom. This Gauntlet of Thebes says passive, but when Gauntlet of Thebes gets fully stacked, it is actually an aura item, so it will work towards your passive. Plus, it's basically the best support item in the game, so you should be buying that all the time on support. I see a lot of Ares rank up their bolster defense a second. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Your job is basically to burn people's beads and try to kill the backline before your backline dies on Ares. You're not a super supporty boy. So my level order in terms of maxing for Ares is 1, 3, 4, 2. It's kind of a weird order. You only need 1 point in the ulti. After that, all it does is rank up the damage. So I like to go 1, 3, 4, 2 because the 3 does a lot of damage, plus it's online consistently and you can use it with your 1. So that's what I prefer to do. If you really want to level up your 2-second just to be a pure support, you can, but I do believe that it's just a less efficient way to level up Ares. I'm gonna use my ulti here for CC immunity from the dodgy ult. Try to burn some other ultis right there. Looks like Sobek is gonna use his ulti to chase me. He might be able to kill me. He actually plucked me back, which means I might live as long as I stay outside of the range of his tail whip. And we did. I'm gonna make sure I get credit for these last couple of creeps so I can back up and get my Gauntlet of Thebes going and a ward. So like I said, I am not getting the Gauntlet of Thebes bonus right now for my passive because this is not an aura yet. It is just a passive. Once it is fully stacked, it is going to be an aura. An item that you absolutely, positively, mandatorily have to buy on Ares, no matter what role you're playing. I don't care if you're solo Ares, jungle Ares, support Ares, you are going to buy Relic Dagger, no matter what. You want to make sure that one of your 2 actives that you get during the game is Blink. I couldn't get Blink at the start of this game because I needed to sprint for the Sobek. Sometimes you might get a shell, whatever the active might be. Make sure that one of your 2 actives is always Blink. This is because you're gonna want to Blink ulti in order to burn people's beads and bring them out of position in the team fight stage of the game. It is also very helpful for ganking, and so that Relic Dagger will lower the cooldown of your Blink. Not to mention it gives cooldown, which is wonderful combined with your cooldown boots. On Ares, as far as the boots go, you can get, in my opinion, cooldown boots or Talaria boots. Both are good options on Ares. A lot of people want to go the power boots, get some Healy McSteelies just to do the extra damage. I'm telling you, man, you're gonna benefit so much more throughout the game, either having the cooldown for more ultis or the extra movement speed to get in range of those ultis. Just go for one of those 2 boots. As far as Ares abilities go, please note that Ares 1 goes through walls. You can use this through walls to hit people, so don't be afraid to do that. Your flame wave damage will not go through walls, but your 1 will. So make sure you are trying to use that even when you're chasing people through walls and whatnot. Hera's gonna be able to live here, which is nice. Also, your ultimate also goes through walls. This was a more recent change on Ares. But your ultimate will also pull targets through walls. It did not for the longest time. But nowadays, if somebody's on the other side of the wall, as long as they're within range of your circle, they will get picked up by it and pulled as long as they don't use a CC immunity. I know that Raijin does not have his beads up because I just watched him use it in the mid lane, so I can just feel free to chain him, and he has no option but to go ahead and use his ultimate to try to get out of this. Gonna go looking through their jungles. As far as ARES and his ability to counter jungle as a support, it's really good. If you level up that 3-second, ARES has some really good jungle clear. I'm talking like Ymir level good jungle clear. So don't be afraid to run around in the enemy jungle when your flame wave is up, dude, and just go take some of it. Like, let's just watch some ARES damage right now on this purple buff. Now that it's fully raked up, watch the way that this thing just kind of gets wrecked. Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno, burn, baby, burn. It is very good. Very, very good. I'm going to go ahead and back it up. Get myself a relic dagger, get myself a blink. Now we're gonna go and get ourselves another aura item right here. I go ahead, I look at their team comp. I realize they've got some pretty decent healing, as well as a lot of magical damage. So I'm gonna get myself a pestilence going here. I need some anti-heal for my team, for the Gooby, for any of the other gods. Sobek's got some healing. Itsunami will probably get some healing, stuff like that. Pestilence will be an aura, so I get that bonus effect from the passive. You can now see that Thebes is leveled up, which means it is now an aura, so I get the bonus damage from my passive now for Thebes. I'm going to switch my actives around because I like them the other way. Your 3 also knocks back minions, so you can use your 3 to group up minions in the mid lane if you need to. Usually not that big of a deal, but sometimes some of your hunters will have abilities that don't hit the whole wave. Historically, Artemis was one of these gods where her 3 wouldn't hit the whole wave. So you can try to use that to bring people in range of abilities, which is very nice. This is gonna be fun. Uppa! Hey! Hey! ARES! ARES! That's some damage, baby! And that's the kind of fun that you get to do with ARES. Not many supports get to just go in there and dive the tower and pick up a couple of kills. ARES, one of those gods that just has so much damage output. If we look at top damage, I'm actually not, but I got top kills and top gold right now. I gotta be a little careful that he doesn't go for the dive right here, but I can try to bait for my Bologna. See if he dives then on me. No, he is not going to right there. So right now in ARES, I'm looking to roam around the map, get farm in every lane. ARES is particularly good at ganking from the support role, much like he's good at doing jungle camps because of his flame. He can also gank very well because his 1 is a slow and a cripple. Keep in mind what the mid laner and the solo laner are playing. Keep in mind what gods they are, because ARES is really, really good at ganking gods that do not have a CC immune ultimate. So this game, it happens to be in Anubis and a Ryzen. Both of them have CC immune ultis. But if you're playing against characters that don't have CC immune ultis, please feel free to rotate over. Especially for a solo laner, because solo laners often don't get beads. They'll have a teleport or a blink as their first active. You can oftentimes get free ganks for the first like 10 minutes of the game before those second actives start to come online. So just keep in mind to the enemy team comp. Also in ARES, you got to be paying very close attention to their actives. They do have 3 beads out this game. Neither Anubis nor Sobek have beads, but they do both have CC immune ultimates. I'm going to be looking for a fight in the backline. I know Ryzen's back here somewhere, so I'm going to blink right on him, hit him with a chain. He pops out Aegis, but with the chain and that Searing flesh on him, there's no way for him to escape. Gonna yoink myself a nice little Sobek and then try to block off one of his escape routes. Now we're going to chase him down. We've got our sprint. Unfortunately, I done missed the chain. Luckily, with the sprint, we're able to catch right up and grab him, no problemo. For ARES in these team fights, what we're looking to do is we're looking to be the initiation. ARES' job is to be the initiation. The most standard form of that initiation in a team fight is really simple. You blink in, you ulti, you try to bring people back to your team so that the squishies are out of position and you can burst them down. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, you don't always just want to do that combo. If you always do that combo, they will start to expect it. So make sure you mix it up. A great way to mix it up is instead of blink ulting, blink in and immediately start using your chains. So blink in, go chain, chain, chain. Get 3 chains off. A lot of times people will beads those chains so that they can use their getaway skill. So let's say I blink in and chain is a Nami. I go ahead. She has to beads in order to use her dash. After she dashes, I can keep chasing, and then I can use my ultimate on her because I know that her only form of CC immunity is down. Bada bing, bada boom. Now she's actually dead. So make sure you're mixing up the strategy that you are using on that. This is where my build on Ares maybe gets a little bit different than you normally see. I like a high movement speed Ares build. I did not go Talaria boots because they recently got nerfed by 3% movement. So instead, I like the cooldown boots in most situations. But I'm actually going to get the wing blade. They've got a lot of slows on this team. Particularly that Raiju, which is going to be proccing all the dang time. They've got the dodgy one, all sorts of stuff. I liked Wingblade on Ares because you're blinking into the fray, putting yourself in harm's way. You need to make sure you have a lot of movement speed to get out of it, or really, really high defenses, but it is much cheaper and easier to get yourself movement speed than it is to get those super high defenses, especially in the support role where maybe gold isn't at its all-time high. No point for me to ulti this Gooby because he should be dead no matter what. Also, he would just quickly pop his ultimate to get that CC immunity, and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. You can see my blink is only on an 80-second cooldown at this point because I've got that relic dagger. We're gonna push ourselves a little tower here. As far as ranking up Blink, it's not a bad idea at all to maybe rank up your Blink on Ares a little bit early. When you rank up the Blink, you get that lower cooldown. It lowers it by 20. I would recommend trying to mostly finish your build right about this point where you haven't sold your blessing yet, but you've basically maxed out your stats. Right around that point is when I would go ahead and consider ranking up that Blink. That way you get even another 20 seconds off of that cooldown so you can use it more and more often. Right now, my ultimate cooldown is 80 seconds and my Blink cooldown is going to be, well, it's not going to be 120 seconds. It's going to be 120 minus 40, so it's going to be 80 seconds. They are exactly in line right now. I can Blink ulti together every single time if I wanted to, which is very strong. Very, very strong. Anubis bought Magi's in order to have the immunity for my ultimate. That is a smart buy. On Ares, unlike most supports, your main job is not peeling. Your main job is actually doing damage. I'm gonna go ahead and just ulti this guy and try to yoink him right on over here. I don't know if he's got beat up. He did, okay. His ultimate was already down, so I figured I might as well try. Your job is really to do damage and to prevent people from using movement abilities. So if you're doing like a rank game and you have an opportunity to counter pick with Ares, gods like Fenrir, Arthur just get wrecked. They just get absolutely wrecked by Achilles because they can't use so many of their abilities. Fenrir can't use his jump or his brutalize. Arthur can't use half of his abilities because they're all flipping movement abilities. So that's kind of what you're looking to pick Ares into. Sobek is actually a hard matchup for Ares. It's a little tricky. You would think that you just chain his pluck and then everything's hunky-dory and okay. It's not quite that simple. If you are very confident in your Ares gameplay, the Ares and the Sobek matchup can be quite nice. If you're not confident in your Ares chains, that matchup becomes a disaster really, really fast. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for a new Ares player. Looking for a blink chain right here. Not gonna land, but my ulti is gonna be back up. Dodgy's gonna be forced into her ultimate. I'm just looking at the Gooby right now. I've got the anti-heal on the Pestilence. I might be in trouble. I'm just trying to keep the chains on Dodgy for that bonus movement speed. Bellona's down to 1 HP, so she's gonna be too low for me to even continue to help. As my last item here, I'm buying a Pythags. Pythags is an underrated item. You should really have a Pythags, I think, on every single team. It's just kind of a hard item for most people to pick up. I like it as a late game item on supports, and it's particularly good on ARES because ARES also gets the aura bonus from it. But Pythags piece gives you, so you get all these stats, right? Not only do you get these stats, you also get the aura effect. Reminder that aura effects in Smite also apply to the god that has the aura, Sovereignty, Thebes, whatever. And it's gonna give your entire team 12% lifesteal, as well as increasing 30 magical power, so 12% magical lifesteal, 30 power, and it gives all of your physical dealers 10% lifesteal and 20 power. So this is just a really, really good item. Not to mention for me, the user, it gives me all those stats, plus on top of that, that extra lifesteal and a little bit of pen action. Hi, Sobek. That's fine. I'm just gonna get out of here. Nothing for me to do. At this point, we should be grouping up, shoving down the mid lane, and I'm looking for big blink ultimates. I'm looking to get all up in their face, hit them with the blink ulti, burn as many beads and ultis and everything that I can, and of course, not die. Your goal on ARES is basically get into the fight, burn everything that you can without dying. That's why I like the Wingblade. Wingblade is such a good item for escaping trouble. A lot of people don't even buy it anymore. I feel like they just forget that it exists sometimes. Ooh, here we go. That's gonna be a 3-man ulti. We're gonna force up a bunch of stuff. Dodgy ult force, Ryzen ult force, Magi's on Anubis. Look at the chains. We got full combos. They're crippled. They can't go anywhere. My boys got a bunch of extra life steals, so they're not even taking that much damage. And we just won the game off of one nice little ARES force. You combine something like a Hera with an ARES. They had so many of their ultis and beads and Magi's force. Hera throws down an Argus. Argus basically does the rest of the work for you. And that is how you are looking, guys, to play some ARES support. If you were playing ARES in the jungle, you build him a little bit more aggressive than this, leaning into items like Void Stone, those kind of hybrid damage items, aura damage, all that kind of good stuff. But as far as support, my main concern is movement speed and cool down for ARES. Blink, ulti, blink, ulti, blink, blink, ulti, blink, blink, ulti. Basically, you want to be blinking as much as I do. If you can blink as much as I do IRL, you're in a good spot and you've got the right build going on ARES, all right? And the best part about ARES is you actually get to participate in the damage. Look at that, 14,000. You get...